Hi friends, Traci Ruiz at Ruiz Consultants. One of the services we provide at our business is elder training. So whether it be safety awareness training, elder abuse training, there are many caveats and we customize services. Today I'd like to talk to you about an issue that went on with one of my elders. So while we provide services to those service providers for the elderly, one of the things that we do in the community is volunteer. Volunteer is a big deal for many of our senior citizens because they're indigent and they don't have anybody. Some are widowed without children and they really need extra help. So as many of you may know, I take care of a 100-year-old female, help her out. And one of the things I do is to check her bills and make sure everything's okay. And she has been set up for auto pay. So she has a few bills. They're on auto payment monthly. So you would think that that would be very easy with her living in a nursing home. A couple months ago, she changed bedrooms, so room numbers at the nursing home, and we had to get her AT&T phone line transferred. Sounds very simple. So she had her phone. She could then communicate with her siblings who are anywhere from 83 to 94 years old, whom she adores and really loves to keep in contact with because she no longer drives. So that phone is critical for many senior citizens. The phone line is transferred. We think everything is good. And all of a sudden I receive an email that looks very different. Normally I receive emails that say, your AT&T bill has been paid, with a blue background. This one came with a white background and said your bill is due. And I saw two emails, so I contacted the AT&T number. And when I called there, they let me know that the bill was overdue and they were just in the process of shutting down services. The overdue bill was for $90 some and basically 2 months full of payment that they had not pulled from her bank account. When I inquired why, they said, didn't anybody from AT&T explain that to you when you transferred or when she transferred rooms? And I said, absolutely not. I talked to an AT&T representative to get the phone line turned back on, but nobody said a word about having to deal with an auto payment change. So they said in AT&T, they automatically change auto pay and they don't reassign it when a phone number is turned back on or transferred to another area, whether it be an address, a new phone number. So it's the customer's responsibility to know that, and they don't notify them of the shut-off service. So literally, because of an email, a different email that I received, the different look, I should say, of the email that said your bill is due, that's what prompted me to call them. I would have never known that her phone line was going to get shut down. It would have been critical to her because she can't drive and she can't get out to see her elder siblings and her family members, which is a big deal. She doesn't have children, so there's no one to look after her. And when these things go down that appear different or complicated, she obviously cannot handle those issues on her own, like many other senior citizens or vulnerable adults. So I call AT&T. I spend over an hour and 15 minutes on the phone getting transferred to different places, taking note of supervisor names and contact information should I need to call them back. I was disconnected and literally transferred 5 different times at AT&T. Once I finally get to an individual that can help me out with the auto payment transfer, they let me know that someone at AT&T should have notified me of that when her bedroom was changed, which she did not, nor did I get communication of that. And then they apologized and said, now if I can give them a credit card number and pay the overdue fee of $90, then everything would be taken care of. Because auto bill pay to set up takes 45 days. So obviously her phone bill is overdue. She is on the verge of getting her phone shut off. And if the $90 payment couldn't be paid, then in addition to that, there would be a further issue, obviously, because auto bill pay is going to take 45 days to, be put into service again, is how AT&T does their service. So I explained to her that Mrs. Salinas does not have a credit card, cannot pay over the phone by credit card, and wanted to know if they could just get into her auto payment account and transfer that fund, which they were kind enough to do. And the auto bill pay couldn't go back into effect for 45 days. So it would then be my job to call them back, stay on hold for quite a while, like normal calls, and then make sure that that transaction takes place. So I agree to that, no problem, and we move on. However, she received another bill at the nursing home from a company called CenturyLink, which I had never heard of, nor has she received bills like that, nor has she had long distance service since she has been living in a nursing home from October of 2017. So I called the 1-800 number, and they let me know that they are a long distance service. And they also let me know, even though the bill was in Mrs. Salinas' name with her exact nursing home address and the correct room number, I asked them if they're an AT&T affiliate, to which the initial employee tells me that they are a long distance service on their own. And I inquire as to why there would be an $8.92 bill sent to Mrs. Salinas when I know she didn't order long distance service, because she can't afford that. And they then say, oh, well, if she's connected to AT&T, it's something they automatically put on when the service is enabled. I explained to them that she's never had long distance from October of 2017 until June of 2019, and wonder how that service was put on that phone when she transferred rooms. To which the employee tells me she checks records and Mrs. Salinas never ordered the service, but there is an $8.92 bill outstanding. Seems very small for many of us who are in the workforce and work world, but to many seniors, $8.92 is critical because they don't have the extra income, nor should they have to pay for a service that they never ordered. So I proceed to ask the lady how this took place, and she says it's an automatic when you have an AT&T phone service, they automatically connect over to CenturyLink for long distance. Whether that client knows it or not, they're going to have this bill. And the $8.92 fee is basically a service charge for having CenturyLink, which Mrs. Salinas never ordered. So the employee was kind enough to remove the bill, but she said I would have to contact AT&T to make sure that services were shut down from Mrs. Salinas' end on something that we never ordered. So I'm putting this message out because it's very scamish, and many vulnerable adults are not going to think to ask these questions. And if they don't have an advocate looking out for them, they are going to end up with these bills, which they're not going to understand. And you can see how it'd be quick for a senior citizen to get in debt if they don't have other family members or an advocate helping them navigate the current bill world, auto pay, computer technology. So I put this message out basically for information so that you would know, and you know how to help other peers or clients that may be using this service. And I see using this service as an AT&T, that CenturyLink is an automatic charge with them. I have talked with supervisors. They are willing to waive the fees. But again, how many people even ask the question on an $8.92 bill? Or how many ask questions through AT&T on auto bill pay, phone lines being shut down? There's much to be learned from this. And there are many other instances I've had like this with Mrs. Salinas over the past year and a half. And she's one of many elders, as you can imagine, that are probably having these issues. But this is one situation of many that I've encountered while involving her affairs or handling her affairs. And I'm putting this out as an information, situational awareness for those of you watching, because many wouldn't think to ask these questions or know how to help their loved ones. So if you have parents that are out there aging and paying their own bills and not asking for your help, these are some areas where you could inquire further, where it would seem like a normal monthly bill on a phone that should be quite simple. But again, easily you can see how these bills rack up. And for many seniors, they would not be able to pay them over time. Thanks for watching, and hope that helps.